Oh, Ellen Road is full of sheep. Sorry, I'll stop. Stop. Manchester United kick off 2026 with a one-all draw against Leeds at Ellen Road. We really could have and should have, honestly, come away with all 3 points, given the chances we had, and then ended up squandering. But I think there's another reason entirely we dropped our points here today. But that's what we're going to discuss. Obviously, today we're going to be looking at initial reaction, kind of breaking down a little bit more, and then we're going to be going through the player ratings. Today is the match reaction player rating show. Tomorrow, you guys will get the three thoughts because you guys know I do my three takeaways. So it's been a minute since we've done the player rating, and mostly just because obviously Dylan and I were gone last week in Manchester, and if I'm away watching things or if I don't have time, then I can't do it all spread out. But I've got thoughts today because that's what we're here to discuss the match, the player ratings. I want your thoughts, though. This is United versus Everybody. I am your host, Sean. And if it's your first time, welcome to the channel. If it's not your first time, welcome back. And make sure you like it, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you check those memberships. There is a WhatsApp group available for starting 11 and Legends members. There is a post in the community tab for starting 11 and Legends members to make suggestions for different types of content. So go check that out. And then, as always, you can see below your screen there is some items for display from the Universe Everybody store. I know after results like this, after performances like this, nobody wants to go and spend money on the club, but it doesn't go to the club. It goes to the channel. It goes towards more content, more time and energy for me to put in for you guys. But consider that as well. We're going to start with a little bit of news, but you guys, first and foremost, I got to see who's getting involved in the chat. As always, Danny B's in the house. Danny B, absolute legend in the channel. I feel like he's been one of the first and longest serving kind of regular UVE community members. Excellent eye for talent, especially South American talent. If you have any questions about young up-and-coming South American players, go check Danny B. Yes, he does say hit that like button and subscribe. Apologies in advance if I cough or sneeze. I am a little bit sick. Always happens when I come back from Manchester. It's never the way there. It's never while I'm there. It's just that trip coming back a couple days later, I just start to feel it. But Danny B's got thoughts. What are we saying here? Cowardly, gutless performance. Yeah. Shesko, you know how I feel. Yeah. Shesko wouldn't have been my first choice in the summer. You guys know that. But he's here now. I am going to back him. I do have thoughts on Shesko today. I don't think that, in my opinion, I didn't think he was awful. He did squander a very simple opportunity, but it is what it is. Danny's blaming this on Ineos. We needed a midfielder in right away in January. We really did, and we just don't have one. Still time. It's only the 4th, but we'll see. Alexis on, welcome. So this draw is fully on the owners. Amorim is left out to dry. Minute 1 looked like it was going to be a struggle. No creative outlets killing us. We desperately need midfielders. Yeah, I mean, it is a big miss, having people at AFCON I'm not entirely in 100% agreement with Amorim when he spoke in the pre-match presser that was a big reason. I do think that your job as manager is to manage, right? It's also a verb. So he's got to figure out some solutions. I don't think that some of his decisions or some of his tactics and some of the way we've been playing puts us in the best position. I think he's making it more difficult on himself than it needs to be. But we'll get into that. But yeah, Shesko probably wouldn't have been my first choice, but he's here. I'm going to back him, and I'm going to give him some time, as I do with every player, every manager. So ahead of this one, because we're going to talk a little news before I jump in, because a lot of big talking points that came out ahead of this one, specifically in the embargoed section of the pre-match presser. So if you guys by now you don't know, the press conferences are kind of broken up into 2 sections. There's an initial section, there's an embargoed section that's released several hours after the fact. But in the embargoed section, there was a bit of an exchange between Amorim and I think it was Jamie Jackson, if I remember correctly, that I want your thoughts on. So I do like Jamie Jackson. He's a nice guy. I met him once when I was there. He stopped and made time to chat. I'm thankful for people like that. But when it comes to the journalist aspect, he does get on my nerve a little bit. But there was this little bit of a back and forth between Jamie Jackson and Amorim yesterday. I'll put this up on the screen, so I'm gonna dip out for a second so you guys can see what we got here. So this is what was said. So Jamie Jackson, Ruben, you recently said that regarding changing the system, you now understand that playing in a 3-4-3 way basically requires having a large number of exceptional players. Why didn't you realize that when you first came to the club? The ball is on Jamie Jackson, man. Amorim said, I don't want to talk about that. I'm only focusing on the Leeds match. Jamie Jackson, this is interesting. It's not your habit to not want to talk about this. So he's kind of playfully poking fun at Amorim. He says, do you regret saying that, perhaps? And Amorim again, no, I don't want to talk about that. Jamie Jackson, I'll try one last time. Looking at those statements, it's puzzling that you said that after 1 year. Has something changed? Has Jason Wilcox spoken to you? Ruben Amorim, I don't want to talk about that, but you're very smart. it's it's interesting. It is interesting to say the least. I'm going to take that off the screen now again. What do you make of that? I know a lot of you probably saw some of this clip. I just put up the whole exchange here for you guys. You guys are already speaking about maybe Ineos kind of leaving him hanging out to dry. Is Amorim hinting at a potential issue going on behind the scenes, some sort of rift, disagreement, difference of opinion between him and maybe Wilcox, Barada, Ineos, whoever? How do you guys look at that kind of back and forth and interpret that? Because you can look at that a number of ways, to be honest. It could just be Amorim kind of literally telling Jamie Jackson in the way he's trying to ask the questions. And he just, hey, you're a smart journalist. Trini says, Amorim hired to be a manager, not a coach. Yeah, I think it's the other way around, personally. Danny says, was very smart saying Ineos left him hanging, basically. But here's the thing. If Amorim doesn't want to get in trouble, right, and he's going to say, hey, you're very smart when Jamie Jackson says, he's basically confirming what Jamie Jackson's saying. He's basically confirming what you mean right there, Danny. And so that's going to get him in trouble anyway. So he's not coming out and being like full Mourinho, full Antonio Conte, full Thomas Tuchel, and just literally just throwing his toys out of the pram. But you can tell that, to me, these last couple press conferences, you could tell Amorim is just upset, dejected, disappointed, frustrated. You can read that body. I'm not a body language expert, but part of my job is to take note of body language as a therapist. And I can see Amorim is definitely not in a good place mentally, emotionally even. You can tell there's something there. There's a lot going on beneath the surface, and he really wants to just go break a TV, but he can't. So I don't understand why you would say that as well. Big up, Jim. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you guys are doing well on a Sunday. Please consider hitting that like button and subscribing. We are on the road to 3K. We're on the road for a little while. I'd love to get to 3K before the January window ends. How's that sound, you guys? Think you can do that? Johnny, welcome back. He says, Amorim's post-match comments make it seem like to me that he might be sacked today, to be honest. So you think he could go today? Do you think he's just daring Ineos to sack him with these comments? Trini Red Devil, big up. Is that basically just him saying, sack me? I dare you. I love the vacation and the severance. And he could literally, like I said last spring, not 6 months ago, but a year and a half ago, when we were looking at different managers, Amorim, I did a little deep dive on Amorim at the time. I thought he could go to like Atletico Madrid and do a good job taking over for Diego Simeone. Honestly, I thought that would have been a smoother transition for him. They already play a 3 at the back there. I think it could have been good. Alex and Son says, you can't bring a system-specific manager into club and not back him with players. Bar that, everyone looked good, except Šeško. Yeah, Šeško definitely looks low on confidence. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get into player ratings. We're just tackling the news real quick today before we dive into all that. But yeah, I do think Šeško looks like he's struggling a bit on confidence. Johnny says, well, he called out Wilcox and also the owners, to be honest. So knowing how much Ineos and the Glazers hate negative press about them, we'll see, man. You could be onto something, Johnny. If they get sacked, and we're going to give you full credit, man. You're going to call you Johnny ITK from now on. Daddy says, if he goes, he should go out with a bang. Leave Ineos hanging. Just throw it out. Just say F it. Just full of Jerry Maguire. Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? I'm not going to do what all you think I'm going to do and just flip out. Who's coming with me? Is that full? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Amorim doing that? That would be amazing. Legends will know what that's coming from. Big up Darkrow, man. Been a while since we saw you in the chat. No ambition, Amorim or the players? Yes. Yes is the answer. You could throw Ineos in there as well with no ambition, man. Trudy says, I think he's gone now after this one. No way Ineos is going to let this slide. Well, again, it's all down to interpretation, because some people are kind of going that route, right? Interpreting that way. Some people are just, maybe there's something else to it. He may be, if he doesn't at least get to go, if Ineos had an issue with this, they're at least going to sit down with him and ask him, hey, what did you mean by this kind of thing? Now, Amorim does have a habit of kind of over speaking a little too much. He's made some really bold, kind of non-filtered comments in his time as the United manager. And I think that you're seeing it happen more and more because of the stress, the pressure. A lot of it, like we spoke about in the preview, is self-inflicted. He's creating this pressure cooker for him. He's turning up the dial with his tactics, his decisions, like only making defensive subs, only making 3 subs against Wolves, and they were all defensive. Like, he's bringing it upon himself more often than not. And so I do think he's got a big part to play in where things are right now. DJ Laz Worldwide, welcome. Sack the board. Well, I wish that was I wish that was possible. Dylan's in the house. What's up, man? Just popping in quick. Said thought we looked okay, but like has been said, desperately need midfielders. Yeah, Shesko. We need some options to help Shesko out. I wouldn't an experienced striker would not go amiss. Maybe someone who can come in and see what we can do there. But Dylan says I would like to put on some youth. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen some youth, more youth as well. I got thoughts on that as well. Big up, Dylan. Hope you're feeling better. Dylan and I are both feeling it a little bit after coming back. It was a very long flight back, man. It was a straight shot from Manchester to Atlanta, which was like 9 hours. It felt like it went by quickly, but at the same time, my legs are killing me. Alex Zassan says it's sad if you get to the boot to get another manager for another rebuild. And that's the thing, like, people were like, well, Liverpool rejected him. Well, Liverpool were well into a rebuild, like almost a decade into a rebuild. They would have had to rip everything up and start over again. We were just starting a proper rebuild. And so there was nothing to rip up. Everything was ripped up. It was an opportunity for a fresh start, new manager, new ideas, new system, new look, United, everything. Problem is, you got to get it right as well if you're going to do that. And you have to back it to a somewhat degree, right? Jib says, what if Ineos Glazers can't afford to sag Aaron? Well, it's going to cost a bit, right? I forget if anyone can remember exactly how much, because we spoke about this a while back, because they did pay a lot to bring in his coaching staff as well. Danny says he's too cowardly to play Lacey. Yeah, I do think he's a bit risk averse. It's really annoying. DJ says they promised Amorim signings. I think losing Europa final messed a lot of things, but the board needs to know that a game can go either way. Fans need to look at the board, not Amorim. No, I get it. I'm 100% in agreement. Now, I do think that we can look at the board and Amorim, though, because Amorim, again, is playing a part in this. The players are playing a part, too. We need 3 eyes. One to look at the board, one to look at Amorim, one to look at the players. Johnny says, the only thing that confused me is his whole I'm the manager, not head coach thing because he was brought in. Yeah, no, yeah. He said something like that. I didn't read the whole post-match press conference notes, but he's a head coach. He's not a manager. We're not doing this shit anymore. Maybe that's him taking more responsibility. I don't know, man. Danny says, any decent manager with a brain will run from our owners. Well, we're told that Xavi Hernandez will walk to Manchester to take the job. We'll see what happens. Reportedly, we did approach him before Ten Hag was let go. So, but it's continuing with the press conference. Let me take that off the screen a little bit. He was also asked a couple more questions. You got to see the look on Amorim's face during this press when Jamie Jackson was answering. Like, I had it behind the words. This was the look on his face when Jamie Jackson was pestering him a little bit. That's the look of a guy. I can't tell if that's a look of a sheepish look or if that's like an annoying, like a humorously annoyed look. I don't know what that is. You gotta go fire your boss. Good job, man. Who said sack the board? I don't know if that's possible, but there is a way perhaps to maybe get a vote of no confidence at the stock room, like the boardroom level, but we'll see. But yeah, Amorim's face kind of, I don't know what you guys make of that. Is that a sheepish thing? Is that a I hate you, Jamie Jackson thing or what, dude? He was also asked, has anything changed in relation to the transfer budget? And why didn't you know the situation around recruitment when you joined the club? Why didn't you realize that 3-4-3 won't work sooner, but only now? Every single one of those questions Amorim answered with, I don't want to talk about that. So there are clearly sort of questions or topics regarding recruitment, regarding the structure, regarding maybe January window that Amorim is just not willing to talk about at the moment. Whether he's been told to, whether he's just, it's a Jose Mourinho thing. If I speak, I'll get in trouble kind of a thing. I don't know, but it's doesn't look good. Like I think it was Andy Mitten said, don't get our hopes up when it comes to signings, man. DJ says the board wants 4-3-3, but Amorim was promised backing with a 3-4-3. the board wants a 4-3-3, then then this is on the board for appointing Amorim in the first place because he doesn't play a 4-3-3. Why would you bring in a 3-4-3 manager if you want a 4-3-3? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But I'm not the board. Again, if it's a system thing, then that's on the board because you know what you're getting with Amorim. That's like bringing in Jose Mourinho and then getting mad when he parks the bus, like plays counterattacking football. Like you knew what you were getting. Like there was no excuse to get mad about it. So that's where I'd almost feel for Amorim and even think it was unfair if he did get sacked because of the system because we knew what we were getting. You just know what you're getting, man. Um, Johnny says, I wonder if Cobby will all of a sudden return from injury when Amorim's gone. A few weeks ago, Amorim says Maine will be back before Bruno. Yeah, I think if you guys believe that Cobby's actually injured, then you know what? I applaud your positivity. I don't really think he's injured. I think he just doesn't want to play for Amorim. I think that is kind of a irreparable rift at that point. I think that's just the way it is. I think bridge is burnt. DJ says, match-going fans are the people who can sack the board, buying merch, walkouts, protests. Well, I'll be honest with you, DJ, and this is going to sound a little uptight. I'm not, but it's just something I've noticed. So I don't purchase anything from the mega store. I'm not saying that makes me elite or anything. I'm just saying I don't, but you'll never not have people that are purchasing because most of the people that go in on match days to the mega store are the people who are there for the day, there for the weekends. They are tourists and things. I'm not trying to diss anybody, but it's not the locals that are there buying. It's not the season ticket holders that are there buying merch. It is the people visiting who are doing that stuff. That's where the money is. The season tickets already have their money, but now you can't even leave. They have to do the walkouts because you can't not go because you'll lose your season ticket. That's just the way it is now. You get like it's a 3 strikes, you're out kind of a thing. And you lose your place, I think, in the lottery for the next season as well. So a walkout would do it. Protests aren't really doing it because the camera, no one at home is going to see it. They're not going to, like, Peacock's not going to show the match until literally the opening whistle. You don't get to see any of the protest stuff unless it gets the game called off, like Liverpool did a couple of years ago when the Super League protest went down. A walkout is the best way to do it. So I fully agree. You have to do it. You have to make them look bad on TV where everybody can see, not just the people who happen to be standing by the Trinity statue. You know what I'm saying? Like, people putting videos on Twitter is not going to matter. But when you get Peacock, when you get Sky, when you get BBC, when you get all these guys showing footage talking about walkouts, that can do it. And so that's where we need to hit them. Not a big deal. Yes, I do appreciate the likes, you guys. Please make sure you like. And if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. It's the best way to get involved. Again, memberships, they help that out too. You can get involved in all sorts of the content. Don't know if you guys saw the 3rd episode of What If of season 4 just dropped yesterday. So you can go check that one out. We explore an alternate timeline where there was no Cantona Kung Fu kick and what that might have done. So go check that one out. Trinity says, if we get Xavi, make sure he's signing as a manager and coach, not just a manager. I've got thoughts on Xavi. Obviously, Dylan and I did a rundown of 8 managerial options back in, I think it was September, before we went on that good spell in October. Xavi was included. You can go check that out if you want. I do have another deep dive planned for Xavi because the more I look into a little bit deeper into his tactics, the more I like his tactics. Now, he's still inexperienced, Xavi, and so that to me is the big question mark, is inexperience. Now, a few years at a big club like Barcelona is still better than a few years at a lot of other clubs, and so there's that consideration as well, but still very, very young as far as managers go. Let's talk about team selection real quick, because when that starting 11 came out, when the whole match day squad came out, as much as I criticize him, I do feel for Amorim when I looked at the match day squad. So many first team players missing. I think a lot of managers would struggle when their main outlets are gone. Ahmad, Bumo, Bruno, De Ligt, obviously been out for a while. Malacia was the oldest player on the bench, followed by Xerxes and a metric fuck ton of youngsters. Literally, Fredrickson, Kukonki, Montato, both Fletchers, Lacey in there as well. A lot of youngsters. It's not a bench that you look at and say, oh, we need something from this game. These guys are going to do it. At least Amorim found a way to squeeze another defender in there. And Kukonki, we know he loves him some defenders as well. But at the end of the day, not a confidence-instilling bench. I think if Ineos can look at the state of that bench, can look at the state of the starting 11 right now, and not bring in at least one player this month, then I think that their ambition, or lack thereof more specifically, I think that is clear for us. If they don't do anything in January, I think they're basically banking, hey, if you qualify for Europe, that's fine. If you don't, you're getting sacked, basically. Um, yeah, it's ridiculous. DJ says, we have looked at players, managers for over years, 10 years, sacked them. The Rashi, Sancho, Garnacho, most are gone. The Glazers, yeah, I mean, 2 years on Ineos. I mean, I think a lot of the players that Ineos have brought in have been good players, barring like one or two off the top of my head. But we have to do more. There's no excuse to slow down, to take your foot off the gas when it comes to this build, this process. There's no need to wait until the summer when there's business to be done in January. There's just not. There could be good opportunities, man. Trini says us in a 4-3-3 under Xavi. Yeah, it would be nice, right? Maybe sit Casemiro, Bruno, Cobby in the eights. Could be a good little thing. Danny says that's on Ineos, that bench. Yeah, that bench is rough. It's a good way to see maybe which youngsters are ready. Obviously, Fletcher's been getting a lot of minutes. Montato got some minutes against Wolves. Fredrickson got a little bit of minutes as well. Lacey, I think I would have liked to have seen Lacey more today, but I'm not Amorim. Debasi, welcome back. Says no players that can control the tempo out there. We're going to talk a little bit about that because I thought that actually there was never a time where I was worried. Like I thought we looked comfortable on the ball. We just couldn't really get it going in the final third. That final ball was either overhit or not hit at all. And then just fluffing the chances, man, it was annoying. Danny says, doesn't matter who the manager is. If Dallas, Shaw, Ugarte, Maguire, Cass still at the club, forget about any expectations. Dallo, yeah, you guys know I'm not a fan of Dallo. And I don't necessarily think Shaw, Casemiro are at fault for anything. It's just they're just old, right? We just have to start moving on. But as far as tactics go, I mean, it was defensive kind of from the off, right? We were kind of sitting in a back five, very, very frustrating. You can say, hey, this is a Leeds side that's in good form. Hey, we're away from home, Ellen Rowe. But at the same time, if you sit in the back five, what that tells from the off, it just tells me you're just inviting the pressure, which is something we've seen from Amorim time and time. I have to take a drink of this tea. Leeds pressed our defenders very aggressively, trying to win that ball back in advanced areas so they can quickly nick a goal. And then they were fighting for every single second ball. The plan was to just hoof that forward, win those second balls, try to fight for every loose ball in and around our box. And they were haranguing us a little bit. But again, I'm never really super worried about it, to be honest. I thought we looked much better on the counterattack today. And we have done for a few months now. We've always looked most dangerous when we're hitting them other teams on the break, right? There's a little bit of that link up, that 1-2. There's that one pass here, one pass there, that layoff, and we look good. If we could just dial in the runs, the timing, so we're not offside all the time, as well as that final ball to find the runners, I think it'll click. It's just taking way too long because we're not doing it enough when the opportunities arise. Against Wolves, there were chances upon chances upon chances to take it, and we're not. And so nobody's dialed in. Super annoyed at the referee. I don't know how you guys felt about the referee. He was getting on my nerves, though. I feel like we should have had a lot more calls than we did, but a little problem there. Debas says Dominic Calvert-Lewin ghosted, dude. Ahead of the match, you guys know in the preview, I said that Aiden Heaven versus Calvert-Lewin was going to be interesting, and I think that Aiden Heaven definitely won that battle today. You guys let me know your thoughts. Big up, Jules. Good to see you again, my crossbar brother. How's it going, man? Big up. Hope you're doing well. We were just kind of talking a little bit about the overall half real quick, and then we're going to dive into player ratings here in a second. Danny says, too cowardly. He's not a United manager. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Amorim's risk aversion. I don't know if he's trying to send a message that he doesn't have the players to do the things he wants to do, but I'm not happy with it. I did think it was a little too easy here and there for Leeds to get into us. Again, their goal came from just one simple pass, one attacker running through our defense, and then they scored. Simple chance. Poor from Dallo, I thought, to give that away, but Aronson is in that space that we've given defenders time and time again. Brentford, I think Bournemouth again did the same exact thing. It's just too easy for the opposition to get one ball through our defense and into the box and score. It's way too easily. Super annoying. What were you guys saying here? Danny says, Heaven was brilliant, but was at fault for the goal? I think that's harsh. We're going to talk about that in a second here because I do think positional wise, you could say yes, but I don't think it was his fault necessarily. Trinity says, hear me out. Leacha CDM instead of Cass. But you take Leacha out of defense, who are you going to put back there? Because I like him back there. And if you noticed, since Bruno has been gone, Licha, he'll play in defense, but he's really just basically playing as the deep lying playmaker. Really, it's what his job is right now without Bruno, which I don't have a problem with. But he's just got to be quicker to release that ball. Unfortunately, um, that was a disgrace. I kept saying he was very poor. All right, let's do player ratings, you guys, because I want your thoughts. If you have any more overall thoughts on things, let me know. Let's start at the back. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel if you are new. Let's start at the back with Senna Lamans. Thought he had an excellent save for, I think Okafor had like an overhead kick around the 70th minute from a corner. I did get frustrated with him, though, because I just thought he was taking too long to get these goal kicks out, especially that last one. We were deep in extra time. We had like a minute, and he took like 30 seconds to take that goal kick. There's no urgency there. Like, and I've seen that from these players for a while now, not just Lamans, but even for years. Like, there's no urgency in the dying minutes when we really could go and get something. There's no urgency. Everyone's just like they've resigned to the result when there's still time to play. So Lamans taking like half a minute to do this goal kick when there's still time for us to maybe hoof it forward, maybe do something. I don't know, like hoof and hope, Hail Mary. That was frustrating, but he did make some decent saves today. But what would you rate Senna Lamans today? Big up, Box. Good to see you again. I'd probably give Senna Lamans I'd probably give him like a 6. I mean, he didn't really do anything spectacular. He made the one save that really stood out to me. Didn't really do anything other than that. He was caught wrong-footed for that Dominic Calvert-Lewin chance. I mean, there's really nothing he could do about that. But I'd probably give him like a 6. Debassi's going ahead and giving him a 7. Danny's saying he's 7.5. So maybe I'm just seeing something a little different. No, you guys are very, very nice. Jules says 8 for Lamans, some excellent saves. Even the one he clawed away from Calvert-Lewin in the corner was exceptional. All right, so I'll raise it to a 7. You guys are influencing. I gave in to peer pressure, you guys. That's what they taught us in school. So we'll give Senna Lamans a 7 today. What about Licha? I thought he did everything pretty well as a leader in defense. He won all of his duels today, made 3 interceptions, 12 defensive contributions overall, was basically charged with building from the back, always made himself an outlet. He did well when the youngsters were in trouble to come over and help sweep up a little bit. Thought he was getting stuck in. He's just, I thought he had a good match. I'd probably give him like a 7. Bach says, Leach and Cast, slow tempo. Yeah. Leach does frustrate me, especially against Wolves. So Dylan and I were there against Wolves, and just the slow tempo was on. I didn't think it was bad today necessarily. Debasi says a 7. Danny says played well, give him a 7. Jules says Leach gets an 8. He was the leader today, held the team together. Yeah, he has to. And that's the big thing about the injuries. It's really going to tell you who you can turn to and where your leaders are. When we're missing so many experienced players, so many big players, other players have to step up. And we said that going into AFCON as well. And Amorim's kind of said that as well. These players have to step up. It can't just be everybody retreats, but Amorim also needs to look in the mirror and take his own advice there. So most of us are going around 7 or so for Licha. Yeah, I think that's a good rating for him. 7's not bad at all. Lenny Yoro, still a bit shaky and definitely not comfortable defending in wide areas, in my opinion. He just doesn't look like his anticipation when the balls are played in those channels is just all off. He's caught kind of wrong-footed, which means he's behind the play. He's stuck chasing. And I don't have a problem if you're slower than another player, especially a winger or something. That's going to happen. You'll never hear me going on a player for being slower than another player. Because I don't do that. But the things that Lenny Euro is struggling with right now are the things that you're going to struggle with when you're young and when you're kind of being put in these situations that you're not naturally comfortable and he's playing in wide. I know Stu's been talking about it a lot on Jarvis's channel, Tactical Devils, but he just struggles to defend in those channels. He does not look comfortable at all. Needs to just go ahead and boot the ball, or at least foul the attacker before they get there. So, it's just savviness. It's gamesmanship. I don't have a problem with that. The Bassi's going 6 for Lenny Yoro. He had to get dug out of trouble a couple times by Aiden Heaven too. So you've got a guy younger than you who's kind of helping you out a little bit. Box says he gets slower every game. Guys saying 6.5, 6. Yeah, he is just not comfortable with that, which is going to happen. Defenders typically will get done by pace and skill from wide players especially. So it's nothing new under the sun as far as that concerns. But I do think, like Debasi says, I think it has a lot to do with confidence because Lenny Euro was also great if as well. Something happened where it's just a couple bad performances, and it's like he can't get over it mentally. Um, Trini doesn't see anything special with Euros, to be honest. I'm getting Twanzebe vibes. Well, I hope not, because we paid a lot of money for him, and I'm going more on what we saw from him when he was at his best. He's been at his best longer than he's been in this poor run of form, and so I'm going to trust on the sample size, and they'll see. But there's always an opportunity to get out of it. One thing you're going to get from the young players is the dip in form here and there. I just need him to hurry up and get back into good form, because it's starting to get on my nerves. I'm trying to light up a little bit. What about Aiden Heaven? I think he won that battle against Dominic Calvert-Lewin handedly. He was once again immense for me. Like I said, had to come across and help Lenny Euro out a couple times. I think Heaven is getting better and better with every single game. He's still going to make mistakes. He's still going to have those inexperienced moments kind of show, not knowing the whens and the wheres and what the timings and anticipation. That'll come with experience. Expecting a young player to have all that in the Premier League is a bit much. I saw that, like I said, I saw the camera, the pundits, United fans kind of going in on him for Leeds' goal. Yes, you can argue that his positioning, the rest defense there was not great, but again, he's young. But I think that the issue there was Dalot losing the ball unnecessarily, which Dalot did quite a few times today, which put us in that situation. And again, Aronson right through. So a little frustrating here. Tobias says Six made a blunder by not tackling. I mean, he just couldn't catch him. When Aronson's quick, when Aronson's on a full-on sprint, and when a player's coming at you to full-on sprint and you're facing him, and then you've got to turn and get to them on a full-on sprint, you're 9 times out of 10, you're not winning that race. You're just not. There's just no way you can get up to match their speed when you're facing them. It's just not going to happen. Then he says 7.5. Yeah, I think just for the battle that he won against Dominic, he handled Calvert-Lewin. He was winning all sorts of headers, doing everything he could today. Jules says 7-8 would have been 9 if it weren't for the slight error. Yeah, he played a part in it for sure, but the way the cameras and the pundits were going in on him, I was like, that's uncalled for. That is uncalled for. He says it was Dalot's fault. No matter what happens, it's Dalot's fault. That's funny. Box says you can't let Aronson. I mean, and I think it's a bit harsh on Aronson too, because Aronson did well. He had the power, he had the pace, and he just held off. I'm expecting a young 18, 19-year-old center back to win that battle against that is a bit much to ask personally, but hey, nothing wrong with it. Luke Shaw, what are we looking at for Luke Shaw? What do you guys say about Shaw today? I thought it was a good defensive shift for him, playing, obviously lining up a little bit on the wider left-hand side. Thought he did well defensively. He always just seemed to calmly kind of be there, good on the ball, good off the ball. I would have liked to see us utilize his crossing a bit more. He seemed like he was stuck back trying to help us build out from the back because of the way Leeds press, when I would have liked to see us get the ball to him in advanced areas and utilize his delivery a little bit. I mean, that's one of Shaw's best attributes. I think that's why I liked when he was on the corners today. Like, he's much better at that than like Cunha or Mount. Mount is gash at corners and set pieces. But I would have liked to have seen us utilize that a little bit more. Unfortunately, we just didn't get a chance to. What were you guys saying here? Yeah, he did well. Yeah, that clearance was perfect to help out, because that was definitely going to be a goal had he not been there, for sure. Good, well spotted there, Danny boy. Tobias says 6 slow and slow. You seem to be really hung up on pace. I think that the problem was, again, Leeds pressing us and trying to get out from the back here. Jules says Shaw 7.5, defended very well. Didn't see much. Yeah, exactly. He did what he needed to do defensively. I just think I would have liked to have seen him get up forward a little bit more. But what are you going to do? All right, everyone's favorite. Let's just get it done and over with. Diogo Dalot. Start with a positive. So he does have a knack for making these like curling inward runs to try to get on the end of a long ball. He'll do that a couple times a match. The kind of runs you're going to see from a striker, which you could say kind of throws people off. But other than that, I don't see what Dalot offers. He needed to do better with that chance he had from a corner. So that run actually led to a corner. He had a chance. He should have done better with it. I thought he did well to help out Euro a few times. I thought he did well to kind of cover for him, get back, track back, which is what you need from a fullback. But poor touch today, heavy touch, gave away possession a few times, put us in a dangerous situation more than a few times, led to their goal as well. So I'm not happy with Dalot. Probably give him like a 4, honestly. Danny's going in with a 2. Danny never changed, man. Debasti says a 5. Trini Red Devil says 5. Everyone's pretty much getting a 5. Jules says 5. Daddy doesn't know. I mean, he's the only one left right now. Everyone's gone. So I think if it were me, I would still sell him. You can make money off Dallo this summer. Send him to Atletico or something. Let him go play fullback in Spain. I think he would do just fine there personally. But we need to be looking. I do have a right wing back in my next scouting report special, plays for Sao Paulo. So if anyone is familiar with South American football, we'll be doing that. But I'll go like a 4. The box says anything we just skip Dallo. I mean, that's what the opposition does. They skip right by him. Might as well do the same, right? All right. This one could be mercurial. This one could divide opinion, but I've got some thoughts on Manuel Ugarte. We're gonna give Dallo like a 4 today. Tasked with disrupting Leeds, and honestly did a decent job, to be fair. He got the most tackles in the match, 2 interceptions, 6 tackles, 9 of 13 ground duels, 16 defensive contributions overall. I can get down with this version of Ugarte, the version that played today. I can get down with. He was all over the place. He seemed to get stuck in when it's a shame. It's such a shame that he isn't just a little bit better on the ball. If he were a little bit better on the ball, he played a lot of balls, tried to find Shesko, tried to find Cunha. It's just not his strength. If we had someone just a little better on the ball, we could have had a couple more opportunities there. It's just not his game. I'm not going to fault him for that. It's like faulting for someone being slow. Like, it just is what it is. But what he does today, I thought he did very, very well personally. I'm not saying he was world class by any means, but I thought he was very, very good today. Dwasi's giving him a 6. Yeah, if Ugarte could play like that all the time, he'd be fine. I think he'd be just fine personally. Box has got some strict standards today. Ugarte and Dorgu weakest. Technically, yeah, but you can't argue that off the ball today, Ugarte put in a shift. He did very, very well. Jules says Ugarte's a 7. Thought he was great. Got about the pitch. And yeah, he is having a couple good matches personally. I think today was another example, just a good match. Again, shame he's not just a little better on the ball, because he could be like amazing if he were just a little better on the ball, but it is what it is. But says I give Ugarte a 7. Shot a loose ball. Yeah, I mean, Ugarte is never the guy you want when those opportunities come his way. Dan's giving us a. Seems like most of you are in agreement that Ugarte today did quite well. Did quite well. We'll call it a 6 for him. Casemiro. I was a little worried early on with Cass. Some sloppy passing early on. Gave away the ball a couple times unnecessarily. But basically, he served as the holding mid, so Ugarte could just get about and cause trouble. But Casemiro did really well. Kind of a hybrid Bruno-ish role. He created the most chances today. He won 4 out of 5 of his ground duels, 3 tackles. Another guy with 16 defensive contributions. He was even helping out with the little triangles later on in the match when we were kind of under pressure a little bit. I thought Casemiro had a good game as well. Obviously, he's not. To start, he was definitely off. But we all know, I mean, we've said it since we signed him. You can almost play bingo with Casemiro playing an absolute stupid ball right to the opposition at least one time a match. That's just what he does, honestly. Danny's giving Cass a 5.5 today. Most of you guys are going around that 6, 6-ish kind of thing. Yeah, to start the match, I was worried. I didn't think he was quite prepared for Leeds press a little bit, but I thought as we went on, we did fine. Personally, was it a perfect match? Not at all, but didn't think he was bad. Most of you guys are giving him a 6. So moving on. Cunha, man of the match from the Premier League today, got his goal like I said he would in the preview. I told you he was putting in the shift. It's gonna click. Completed the most dribbles today. I hope so, because he holds on to the ball for 90 minutes. But I do need more from Cunha all around. But I do think there was a moment about 10 minutes into the second half that encompassed Cunha. You guys remember Gareth Bale in the Copa del Rey final a while back? He got fouled out of bounds on trying to get on the end of something, got pushed out of bounds and came back in and just picked up the ball again and carried in to score a la Giggs in the FA Cup semi. Cunha had a run like that 10 minutes into the second half that really encompasses everything that he is for us. He's going to fight. He's not going to get pushed around. He's going to get a head down. He's going to work hard. And he got on the end of that a couple times. He got fouled twice in that buildup and still got on the end of it, got into the box and created an opportunity. Like, that's the Cunha that I want to see week in, week out. That Cunha, not the Cunha who's walking because he can't be bothered to put in the tackle. Not the Cunha who doesn't get his head up to find his teammates and wants to try to take on the entire world like Rashford used to do. This Cunha today, I thought he could have done better with a couple of his chances I thought he missed this absolute sitter, but this was an absolute good. This I like this Cunha today. Sebastian says 7. Everyone's saying 7. Yeah, he does lose the ball a lot. He holds on to the ball a little too much, but today I thought he did really well today. Um, yeah, I did hit that post again. He needs. That's one of my biggest criticism of Cunha. Just got to pass and move, man. You got to pass and move. I like the confidence in himself. I think he thinks that he can like win those battles, but he's just not doing it. And so someone needs to pull him aside and say, "Listen, pass and move, or you can go sit on the bench for a second, dude." But most of you guys are going 7. We'll call it a 7. Danny's giving him a 7.5. Yeah, I thought it was a really good match from Cunha personally. Could have done better in front of goal, but I liked what I saw. They got his goal, so I'm happy with it. So Dorgu deployed as the right winger, which is what some of us thought could happen in the match preview. I thought he did well to press Leeds. He was constantly kind of pushing them, pressing them, giving away some fouls, but it is what it is. But he was an outlet as well, constantly on the right wing. I think he could have done more with the chance he had in the second half. I think he needs to do better in 1v1s. I don't like Cunha, who backs himself. I think it's the opposite for Dorgu. He doesn't really know. He's caught between two minds too often, and he lost the ball a couple times as enough. His youth shows in those moments when it comes to the whens and wheres. There were times off the ball when Leeds are trying to build out where he didn't quite know who to press, who to mark, who to cover. And that's a youth thing. It's a system thing. You spend a whole lot of time at United playing left-hand side. You go to the right-hand side. It has a lot to do with it. He did lose the most duels, so it didn't help that he was constantly being smothered by Leeds players whenever he held on the ball. But I do think he didn't help himself by holding on to the ball too long at times. But he wasn't bad, but he just, again, not as effective as I would have liked him to be. Trini says 4 for Dorgu. Danny's giving him a 5.5. Yeah, I'd probably give him like a 5. I don't think he was horrible, but he didn't really do anything great. Could have done better with the chance he had early on as well. Jewel says, excellent first half, but faded second. Yeah. So 1v1s were not great today. He lost the most duels today. Box says, Dorgu was never right. When he played for that first half of the season last year before we got him, he was playing right wing at Lecce more often than not. I think probably 9 out of 10, 90% of the time. That's another way to say that. So he can, and he looked really good. Obviously, man of the match. I think he was Premier League Player of the Week last week as well, because he played there against Newcastle, I believe, and he looked very, very good. Danny says, West Ham go down and get Doof. I do like Doof at AFCON right now. Doof's had a pretty good season. There are a couple players. We'll do another video when the relegation scrap looks pretty much settled. You guys know I did one last year to go and get 2 players from each of the 3 relegation sides. So we'll do that again once this table starts to shake up a little bit, because you never know with Wolves, right? They turn around and get another point. But Trini says Dorgu could not be. Yeah, he couldn't. He really couldn't. And it didn't, again, he was up against 2 Leeds players whenever he got the ball, it felt like. And so I do think that we didn't help him out. There wasn't enough bodies forward when we got the ball forward. Shesko was continuing like, where's everybody? I do think it was a little bad. The Dorgu is a right winger, and I don't know if I would call him a right winger, but that's, like I said, that's where he played a lot at Lecce as well. So Dorgu is definitely a left back more than anything, but he can play right wing, and he did play right wing. So, but hey, you could be a right winger, Box. Go. We need some help. Go get it done, dude. Shesko, he's frustrating a lot of United fans right now, isn't he? I thought he looked better in the link up play, in the build up. He has a really silky touch for a big guy. I don't know if you guys noticed a couple of those things. We need to utilize that a little bit more, but he needs help. You can definitely tell he's lacking confidence. That chance he had in like the 74th minute, he really should have done better with. I'm not getting on with him about the header that he put wide, because that was coming from a very kind of straight angle. That's really hard to get that kind of over your body and then somehow put it either way. If it would have come from a wider position, I would have been a little bit more angry at him. But the second chance he had, he should have put away. But you could tell he's lacking confidence. And I don't think they were helping him with the tactics. Like when Højlund was here, just hoofing it to him and over again didn't really help. He was constantly double marked. It's like throwing a Hail Mary into like triple coverage in the NFL. Like, it's just not going to lead to anything. And then when he did win the ball, there weren't many players around him. Like, he had to hold on to it because there's nobody to lay it off to. And then that meant that we were losing the ball because he was surrounded every time he got the ball. He made runs, and we either didn't play the ball or we overplayed the ball. And remember, he played in a front two at Leipzig with Openda, and so he was utilized a lot for those flick-ons, for the build-up to get it onto Openda as well. Maybe we need more of that. I'm just saying, 3-5-2. We brought Xerxes on. It made a difference. Just saying. Hold on a second. But what are you guys' thoughts on Shesko today? He is struggling, for sure. Let's see. Device says, one, sorry, but this is my guy. You have to be strict as you can't miss sitters. You'll dig a grave for yourself. Well, everybody misses sitters now and then. I'm not saying I'm forgiving it. I'm very critical of it, but we'll see. Lecce President said Dorgu was a great white winger. I mean, he played there before we bought him, man. Trinity's giving Shesko a 2. Danny's giving him a 5. Jules going the opposite way, saying Shesko is a 7. Hold up play today, but cannot finish for Tara. Yeah, I think the way we were playing him today at times made him look great. At other times, we didn't help him out. But yet, again, I'm more concerned about the sitters as well. Like, because the last match, Wolves, he missed a couple of good ones. This one, he missed another good one as well. Really, really annoying. Big up, Jarvis. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. We're just doing some player ratings here. Let's see. Danny says Rasmus scores today. I hate saying it. Oh, the tables have turned. Box says Shesko's finishing poor, but up until recently, Cunha, it's peaks and troughs, right? I mean, I like that Shesko is getting into these positions. I do think we need to find him more. Again, I said that about Højlund too, because we just weren't finding him. And that's been a problem with us in these last several weeks as well. We're just not playing the ball. We're not looking for the runners. Big up Jarvis. But just saying, get someone else in around him. This is why I said go play a 3-5-2. It doesn't have to be as strict as it looks on paper, where it's constantly 2 strikers. One can kind of drift here and vice versa, depending on the situation. Like, just need some help, because it's too easy to defend against Shesko right now, because it's literally 1 striker around, like, in the middle of 3 defenders, and we don't have anyone around him to help him out. And it's too easy right now. We don't help ourselves. Special shout out to sorry, where's he at? Joshua Xerxes. Sorry, thought I moved that. Did not move it. Special shout out to Xerxes for coming on and really making an instant impact, really changing the game for us, I thought, in the second half. Pity we couldn't kind of stay on the ascendancy, keep our foot on the gas, though. I thought that he really changed things a lot. So he gets a special shout out today. I've been saying 3-5-2 for well over a year now, because I don't have a problem with 3 at the back. I just don't think we have the midfield to play a 3-4. So a 3-5 would be a lot better. But Xerxes' impact is exactly why I want that. You have another attacker to come on to kind of pull the defense, give them another body to worry about, stretch things out a little bit, kind of win those second balls, be in a position to win those second balls, be in a position for deflections and whatnot. Again, it's too easy to defend against 1 striker, especially when our plan is just to hoof it to him and hope, 2 attackers will stretch the defense a little bit, create some space. And that's what I really think that Xerxes. So what do you got here? Danny says 3 at the back is dead. Can't back it anymore. Devasi's giving Xerxes a 7. Yeah, I thought Xerxes did had a really good. Most of you guys are giving him a steady. Bexy welcome says United were happy. I'm not happy with the point. The players didn't look happy with the point. I don't know if you watched it after the final whistle. They were not happy at all. But welcome back, Bexy. Jules says Xerxes a 7. Instantly improved this in attack. Yeah, I think that Dorgu. I would have taken off Dorgu for Lacey, I thought, late on, and we'll go up to Amorim real quick and do something with him. So let me know your thoughts on Amorim, because like I said, I would have taken off Dorgu and brought on Lacey. I thought Lacey would have maybe given us a little bit more courage, a little bit more kind of precociousness there. As far as tactics go from Amorim, we may never know if it's the individual players kind of being hesitant and cautious, or if it's tactical for us to play so slowly, especially building out from the back. But whatever it is, Amorim's got to change it. He's got to figure it out, because we look so much better on the counterattack, 1 touch, give and go, that sort of shit. We look so much better than that. It's not the way Amorim really plays. And so, again, question marks over, is he the best guy for the job? Why not just play Ollie, or bring back Mourinho at that point, if that's the way we're going to play? Go get Kieran McKenna if that's the way. Anybody can play counterattacking football. That's just, hey, find it, get it wide, get it forward, put it in the box. It's not hard to do. I'm not trying to say it's like anybody, but it's just, you don't need to get a tactical manager if the best thing you can do is play. Now, we used to criticize players for only being counterattacking players, so we have to keep it 100, right? But there's something to be said when we do look better in the attack. Maybe our attack is just better, and we just have to get on board with that. Box says Xerxes not good enough as a 9 or a 10. Now, I'm not saying build around him. Again, take it in isolation for the match. We're just talking about the match. Xerxes came on, had a good game. One of his first involvements was to get that assist, change the game for us. Isolate it here. No one's saying, oh, Ugarte had a good match. Let's not sell him. Let's just keep him. He can be the future. I'm not saying that at all, but in and of itself, the match Ugarte I thought had a good match personally. Try not to blow it too out of proportion here, Box. Dubai says I'd be happy if Chelsea and Sunderland weren't Liverpool losing last time I looked. Let me look real quick, guys. Make sure you're hitting that like button for me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I'm going to go check these scores. Okay, it's 1-1 Fulham and Liverpool, 1-1 Spurs and Sunderland, Newcastle up 2-0, Brentford up 3-1 against Everton as well. We are still sitting in fifth. I would love it if Fulham can come back and win this, but yeah, if Chelsea could lose, that would be great because I'm not happy with fifth, but it is what it is. Danny's giving Amorim a 4. Boo. Device is 7 for Amorim calling out the board. He gets points for just calling out the board. I like it. Box says we're 3 points Liverpool in 4th, 4 points above Palace in 14th. Yeah, the table is so weird this season, Box. It's freaking crazy, dude. Jules is giving Amorim a 7, said did what he could with the squad available. I'm pleased we didn't bring on youth today in that fixture. Pleased he made a positive substitution. It's so weird though. It's like we can say like it's weird we don't want to bring on youth, but that's all we had on the bench was youth. He brought on another youth player in Kakonki as well. Like, and I get that the injuries are there, but I mean, I feel like he could utilize the player. I mean, we already know that he's not really going to back them a whole lot. He barely even backs the bench when everyone's fit. So I'm not sure how he's going to do that. But I do think I would have liked to have seen Lacey come on at least for like the last 5-10 minutes and see just what he could do on the right-hand side. I don't think it would have been too big of a difference personally. Yeah, I agree, Debasi. The board does need to pull their finger out and get something done, man. Box says Palace being 14th at the moment is crazy. It feels like they were, but that's the way the table is right now, man. One bad result and a couple of results going either way could literally shoot us to 5th or drop us down to like 10th, man. It's insane, man. This is a weird season. We all thought maybe it would have kind of evened out like a month or two ago. It hasn't. Everybody is the final like match week of the season could get absolutely nuts. It could literally come down to goal differential for the Champions League spaces or something. Like it's that tight right now. It's crazy. I think we should see him against Burnley. I do think that could be a game to put him on. You guys let me know how you think. Burnley are struggling. Obviously, I think they lost again yesterday, I believe, if I remember correctly. Was it yesterday? I can't remember now. Today's Sunday. Yeah, it was yesterday. Lacey, I think Dorgu maybe could go back to the left-hand side. Dallo, who knows? But I would like to see Lacey, man. Danny says he's too cowardly to play him. And that is a valid point as well. I do not think that Amorim is very favorable towards taking risks personally, but I mean everybody doesn't look at the situation differently. To our credit, like I said before, I don't think we ever looked rushed or out of control or like uncomfortable. I thought we looked good, but we do need to be better. We could have looked better. 2 shots on target from 9 shots from inside the box during the whole match. That's just not good enough. Where was the urgency laid on? Where was the desire to win? Where was the desire to fight for every loose ball? I didn't think the second balls were great from us today either. I don't think we won more than a handful of second balls, and that's really what killed us. Hoof it long, cool, but there's no one to win that second ball, so it doesn't matter. At that point, we're just literally doing what we did the second half against Newcastle, and we're just hoofing it and trying to sit back into shape. So if that's the plan, then the second balls need to get worked on. If the plan is to just hoof it and then defend, then that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Amorim's habit of just hoofing it to Šeško, again, that's unimaginative, and it's useless, again, if you don't win the second ball. I thought he could have brought on Lacey, give us another attacking outlet, maybe stretch that pitch a bit, maybe create some more space for like Šeško and Xerxes to work into, but that didn't happen. Ineos need to look at the bench. They need to look at what happened today. They need to open up the checkbook. There's just no other. Go tell Ziliakis, hey, we'll take that $500 million, man. We'll take the sponsorship. What do you want to sponsor? The training ground? You want to sponsor the sleeve? Do whatever you got to do, man. Put it on the shorts for all I care. If we look like a Liga MX shirt by the end, I don't really care. We need money. If that's going to help us, go get it done. I know we have players on the list. I know we have a plan moving forward, but there's no reason to neglect the January window. There's just not. It's inexcusable. It sounds like Bruno and Mount could maybe be back for Burnley. Amorim said we could expect to maybe see them get some minutes, so that will help. I think that'll definitely help. But again, missing Bruno can't just mean that the only solution is to hoof it to Shesko. That can't be the only answer to that. Is that all that Amorim has for a plan B? If so, that's not good enough. That's not good enough for a football manager, let alone a manager of Manchester United. You guys remember when I did that video a while back, what makes a good manager? One of my criteria, one of my areas was crisis management. That's a big deal for me. How do you manage injuries? How do you manage setbacks? How do you instill that confidence and that resilience and find a solution? That's a big deal. Right now, Amorim is failing in that regard. Again, at no point was I worried that we were going to lose, but I think the bigger frustration for me was that at no point did I think that Amorim was trying to win that match. I just never got that. There was no urgency, no intentionality to go and attack. It was just careful, cautious, slow, cowardly. Amorim is full on Jose Mourinho, but where Jose parks the bus with confidence, with strength, Amorim goes defensive because he's afraid of taking risks. Amorim does it from a defensive, cowardly standpoint, and it's infecting our players as well. We had the opportunity to break into the top four today. We threw it away. We're in fifth. We hope other results go our way today. We'll see what happens there. I try to remind that myself right now. The saving grace is that we're much better off than we were where I think any of us thought we would be, considering what happened last year. But then I remember how many points that we've needlessly dropped, and then I just get mad again. We just need Chelsea to lose today. Maybe Fulham can pull something out of our other hat against the Scousers. Let me get caught up in the chat here because I've been talking for a while. Let's see. Spock says, I'm just glad Leeds didn't give the chance to open up the top bus parade. I mean, it's full of sheep, right? I started to sing the song and I had to stop myself. Jules says, I think after 85 minutes, Amorim sensed the momentum was with Leeds. Yeah, but that's cowardly, man. That's cowardly. I think that I don't trust us enough at the back right now to keep putting ourselves in this attack versus defense scenario, personally. Yeah, the midfield is poor. I mean, I thought Ugarte had a good game today. Again, we're not building around Ugarte for the future, but again, give credit where it's due. I thought he had a good match today. Jules Leeds has some good bench options, which swung the pendulum. Yeah, Gnonto is always going to be a threat. He came on and he changed for them because his movement. I like Gnonto a lot. When they got relegated, I thought he could be a good little backup option for the left side. But so they do have weapons there. It's good that we held Calvert-Lewin down. We held that match down. Jarvis says, would a 4-4-2? I mean, we did sort of build up a little bit at times in different shapes. I do think that 2 at the front made a difference. I don't know if 4-4-2 would have made it, but when we had the 4 at the back and we had a 4-2-3-1, and then we kind of shifted a little bit. Xerxes came on. I do think the front 2 is what makes a difference. And so I understand that Ruben Amorim's tactics start with the 3 because that's the way he wants to build, but everything in front of that can change. And I do think the 1 striker and the 2 midfielders is where we lose a lot of our attacking now and our ability to control games. Just change to a 3-5-2. Just change to a 3-5, especially now. There was no excuse now without a lot of the AFCON players and whatnot. You had the opportunity to maybe pack that midfield with bodies and whatnot, and we just didn't do it. But like I said, managers will get themselves backed or sacked with these kind of decisions. Boxes. Everton losing 1-4 at home to Brentford. Keith Andrews doing a great job. I tipped them for relegation. Yeah, I mean, that Everton match, I still get mad when I think about that Everton match. Again, another example of Amorim kind of costing us the game. Yes, please hit that like, but thank you, Jarvis. I get into the topic so much, sometimes I completely forget. Like, liking the video would be a big help. Thank you, Jarvis. Thank you for doing my legwork for me, bud. Like says, Spurs 1-1 Sunderland. Good result for us. Yeah, that does them. Nota's in the house. Big up, Nota. Welcome back. Says, I thought Leeds would overwhelm us, but a draw is a decent result. I mean, contextually, if you zoom it out, right, and you can look at our missing players, you can look at Leeds form at Ellen Road, you can say, okay, a draw is a decent result. They did just hold Liverpool to a 0-0 draw, so we can be like, okay, whatever. But again, we can't ignore the tactical decision making and those kind of things that do play a bigger role than some people want. I'm not calling you out on this. I'm just saying in general. I think that Amorim has a bigger role in some of these drop points than maybe he even realizes, because today I do think another opportunity late on, show a little bit of urgency, show a little bit of fight, show a little bit of intention and risk to go and get something. We could have done that, and I'm just frustrated with that. So DJ says, Amorim 3 for not playing 4-2-3-1, which worked. But we did play a 4-2-3-1 to start a little bit. It was kind of all over the place, really. Jules says, I thought the team should look like a 4-4-2, but it wasn't. So Lamens, yeah, it was really weird. Tiger Claws, welcome back. Says, I do think a 3-5-2 was. I think just with there's no need to start Cunha, Mbumo, and Shesko every single match. I do think there's an opportunity there to rotate. Maybe Cunha, Shesko rotate. Remember, Shesko played in the front two at Leipzig. I do think he does better. But one attacker is too easy to defend against right now. Our midfield is, we don't have the personnel to play the midfield setup that Amorim wants. So just another body, dude. Just another body would have helped. Yeah, he does a little isolated. It's too easy to defend against, man. Jules says, also, this is the fiercest rivalry except for Liverpool, which is why I started the stream by singing the song, but it is what it is. Oh, Ellen Road is full of sheep. Nothing, sorry. I can't resist. I really can't. So keep a lookout for my 3 thoughts video. I'll put that up tomorrow for you guys. Go check out the latest episode of What If as well that just dropped yesterday. What if there was no Cantona Kung Fu kick? How things might have gone differently. Go check that out. But we'll be back tomorrow with the 3 thoughts video. We do have another scouting report coming up for you as well. And we do have a big episode of the Kickabout this week. Dylan and I are going to recap our Manchester trip with some photos and whatnot, because it was Dylan's first time there. And we'll be grading, we'll do kind of doing a report card for our signings, starting with Dorgu, Heaven, and everybody else we signed in the summer. So we'll be doing that this week as well. But I do appreciate you guys all stopping by. A really good show. It's been a while since we did the player ratings just because scheduling and logistics, but keep a lookout for that one. I don't know if anyone else is going live right now, but if they are, if Jarvis, anybody's going live, Rich at RD United TV, go check them out. I got to go get some more water because my throat is killing me. But please like the video on your way out if you haven't yet done so. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Check those memberships. That's the best way to get more involved, because the conversation doesn't have to stop when the stream does. We do have a WhatsApp group for Starting 11 and Legends members. Go check that out. And then consider go checking out the Unitedverse Everybody store. Tons of one-of-a-kind gear to support the club. None of it goes towards the Glazers. So, all right, Jarvis is live at 9 p.m. UK. So that is in 4 hours for me. So, but yeah, go check out that stream later on. Bookmark it, like it already. Jarvis, if you need anybody else, you let me know. Otherwise, I will be in the chat as always. So until next time, you guys, it's a point. It is what it is. We could have been more. Point the finger where you want to point it, but I do think that I'm kind of tired of pointing it at everybody. But take it easy, enjoy the rest of your day, you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.